Hey there everyone, this is Matt for Creative Reviews. Today we're here with the iPhone 6 Plus. This one comes in gold and white. Its capacity is 64 gigabytes and this one is running on T-Mobile. So I just got this a few days ago and I actually just want to take a look at the outside. If you haven't seen the device at all, this is a pretty good video to watch. You're going to see my hands, which are not overly big. You're going to see this screen. It is going to be under bright lights, and you're going to see how the screen performs with that. So first things first, let's turn that on. As you can see, I'm a Lakers fan. They're not doing so well. I definitely can understand that. But here we go. You have this again under bright lights. And this is one of the key things about the 6 Plus and the 6. They have a extremely well done laminated screen, so even at extreme angles you can see it very well. Now for a moment I'm going to turn off our two side lights. We're going to keep the light that's focusing on it straight ahead, and you can still see the really good viewing angles. Now if you saw this in person, you would even be able to go all the way here and you'd be able to see how much it actually looks like the pixels are on top of the screen, and it looks like almost they are three-dimensional. I'm going to go as far to the size we can, see if we can get close to the camera. It's having a hard time focusing on it, but as you can see here, if you had let's say the iPad or the iPhone 5S or below, you would not be able to see things at that extreme angle. Now if you really like privacy, now that may not be the best thing, because you can actually see what you're doing, or other people can see what you're doing from all angles, and that's, you know, if you're really into privacy, that's not something that you want to happen. But for me, I love it. I'm playing games, I'm watching movies, I'm doing whatever from many different angles. That is my favorite part of this phone. The second favorite is the battery life. Now you've heard people talk about the battery life being a lot better than the 6. That is 100% true. I've been using this fully for a full day, filming, responding to emails, making phone calls, basically using the device all the time, and even listening to music. And at the end of the day, I believe I began at, what was it, 8 a.m., ended the day at around 4:30, got home around 5. I still had 47% of the battery left. And that is really good for me because I'm one of the extremely heavy users. Now when they talk about this device being able to go for a day, I was kind of hesitant to think about that because the iPhone definitely does not work for me personally. Somebody who uses a phone a lot and who's very mobile, it doesn't work very well, and I have to always bring an extra charger if I want to film with it, listen to music, and do all the things that I mentioned before. What eats up the battery a lot too is I'm actually using the 6 to record the 6 Plus here. I'm recording this on 4K, and that's going to take up more battery because I'm doing that. And that's definitely going to, affect the battery life. But if you let's say you go to work, you work on your computer, you use your tablet in your day, you're not going to run into any battery problems with the 6 Plus at all. It is going to be perfectly fine for you. And I suppose it's going to be perfectly fine for most of the people looking for a large phone in general. So definitely you're going to be fine with the battery life. You won't have to bring an external charger or anything of the sort for this one. The sound is okay. It sounds a little bit like a more tinny iPhone 6. That's not really my favorite part about this. I wish the sound was a little bit better because the device is bigger than the 6. But it doesn't sound bad, but it could sound a lot better because, of course, its size is greater. Now, when turned up to the full volume, it then runs into some problems where it could sound more robust. Let's see if we can go onto YouTube and listen to something we have here. Actually, turn the airplane mode on so I didn't get any calls, but let's check out something on YouTube. Let's actually watch one of my videos because that definitely will work. So let's see here. Let's go to our Misfit opening or unboxing. Alright, so we're here at 2. This is 1/4. That's half. That is under $50. And if you know any other fitness trackers, they pretty much go for $100 and up. I'm thinking about the ones from Jawbone and Fitbit and a number of other providers. This is an extremely cheap. And that's how it sounds at full volume. Now, this being my personal replacement for the iPad mini, I expected the sound to be a lot better than that because I expected a big difference because of its size compared to the iPhone 6. Unfortunately, it doesn't have that great sound, but I use my headphones a lot. I really don't use the speaker, and I assume that people don't usually use the speaker unless they have to. A lot of people have portable Bluetooth speakers or wired speakers or headphones. All of those are extremely popular now, so maybe that's why they didn't really take into consideration the speaker and how exactly it would affect the overall sound of the phone. And that's a little bit unfortunate because it's a trend that I've been seeing with the current line of devices. You know, there was that bending issue that has been reported. I don't really see that being a big issue, but the sound, honestly, the sound on this and the iPad Air, they are not. First, for the 6 Plus, it's not as great of an increase in sound quality as I thought from the 6 or the 5S. And the iPad Air, for example, it actually goes down in sound quality. It sounds more tinny than the original Air. But that's a totally different issue, and that's something that actually reads on Apple as a whole. They're not really making it, for me, they're not really making the products that I would really like them to make, which were products that really worked, and they worked well, and they overcompensated for just what they wanted to be. For example, the iPhone 5 and 5S, they had great sound for their size, and they were much, much, much smaller than this. I mean, it maybe looks like a doll's phone in comparison to this huge thing. One thing I do want to mention definitely is its size. Of course, you can see that this is a bigger phone. It's a 5.5-inch screen. Let's take a look at the back here. Nice gold and white accents. I think it looks a lot better in gold than space gray because space gray kind of has ugly grayed out accents where these would show up here, and I think that will look not so good over time. So personally for me, I like the white a lot better. Let's take a closer look at some of the details on the device here. On the top here we have the band that separates the few back plates and side plates on the device. You have your the volume mute switch or lock orientation lock here. You have your volume rockers. On the bottom here you have your headphone jack and your microphone for making phone calls. Again, on the bottom here you have your lightning connector and your single row speaker grill. That's when you make speaker phone calls or listen to music or videos. On the other side here you have your SIM card tray and you have your sleep wake button, which has been moved from the top to the bottom from the 5 line of iPhones. Now, personally, for me, I do sometimes turn it on like so, and I see my notifications pop up, and then I swipe to do that. But more often than not, I'm using Touch ID, which is available in the 6 and 6 Plus. And that really, it prevents you from having to turn the phone on, slide, then enter your passcode. This actually helps out a lot and reduces the amount of time that it takes to actually open and power on the device. This has a 1080p screen, while the 6 has a 720p. If you want more pixels, more densely packed pixels, definitely go for the 6 Plus. It looks really, really good. The colors, I wish on both devices, the 6 Plus and 6, I wish they were a little bit deeper, but they will do fine. If you compare them with the Android phones, maybe from Samsung, those have really deep colors, and I believe they have a Super AMOLED screen, which really has maybe even overly saturated colors, but this does it well. You can watch YouTube in 1080p. You can watch Netflix now in 1080p, and that looks really good. And when you compare it to 720p on the iPhone 6, it definitely is a big step up. Unfortunately, you can't do 4K because this is only a 1080p screen, and that's really all that you will get out of this. So overall, battery life is great. This screen looks beautiful. It is huge. Touch ID works like a charm to turn on your phone. Apple Pay works really well too. And actually, if you're in the DC area, something was very strange. I know you can use it at places like McDonald's and Wegmans and Subway, but I have a case that actually has my Metro card close to it. And for some reason, when I swiped my Metro card, or it had, I think it has NFC in it, and it got close to the phone, Apple Pay popped up. So it may be something that's coming to Metro users. And I think that would be very good. But overall, battery life is great. I like this phone a lot, and I think that this is probably going to replace me bringing around my tablet, because I honestly can film in 4K. I would have to transfer it to my laptop or desktop to actually produce and edit something and upload it to YouTube. But if you record in 1080p, you can do it up to 60 frames per second. You can do slow motion, and you can do all the editing that you want on iMovie and upload it immediately to YouTube on the go, which is something I definitely like. If you have to make a choice between the two phones, I would say go for the 6 Plus, because it just is more of a phone. If you've seen those ads that Verizon played maybe a month ago, the more everything plan, people do really want more. I like the more in terms of screen and battery life. Storage capacity would be the same with either model. You can go anywhere from 16 to 64 to 128 gigabytes. So you don't really get more if you get the Plus. But the only change that I can really see, and that has been advertised, is the optical image stabilization, but while using it doesn't really do much. It doesn't really have that much of a difference, honestly, even in low light or practicing filming in any other light, and even recording 4K, which basically has no image stabilization because it's such a high resolution film or recording option. The optical image stabilization, I would say for now, is something that's not really something that you should look for, because honestly, when I saw this, I really wanted to jump on it. It's not really all that's advertised, unfortunately. Color-wise, you can get gold, space gray, and silver in both models, but again, I would go for the 6 Plus. Now, if you get this from T-Mobile like I did, you can get a 16 gigabyte version for no money down, and I believe it would be about $25 a month just for the device, and that is a great deal. Actually, it could be closer to $30 if I'm not mistaken. For example, if you go to Verizon, AT&T, or I believe Sprint, you will have to pay at least $200 down just for the basic version. At T-Mobile, 16 gigabytes is zero down. You do have to pay taxes, which amounts to about $45, I believe. And if you want to go to 64, it's $100. If you want to go to 128, that is $200 down that day when you purchase the device. This isn't an advertisement for T-Mobile, but I'm really happy with it, and I think that it has the best down pricing on the day that you actually purchase the device. So I would suggest testing them out too, because that's who I'm using, and you'll be able to see the experience that, or have the same experience that I am having too. Being in Virginia, I have only found T-Mobile to have a few dead spots in maybe the more back roads areas. But if you're in like the main city of Fairfax, or definitely in DC, you definitely will have coverage, and I'm grateful of that, and I'm very happy that we have coverage here. So all in all, the phone is definitely, it gets a thumbs up for me. I would recommend you get this phone rather than the 6, and over any Android phone or any Windows phone. Unfortunately, because some of those phones are good, I just think this is a better phone. Alright, so this has been Matt for Creative Reviews. We've been doing a review on the iPhone 6 Plus in gold with 64 gigabytes running on T-Mobile. Alright, find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Blogger. Let us know what you like, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you're still watching this, let me know what you think about filming in 4K. Does it look good? Does it look really crisp, like I really hope it does? Only you, the viewer, can let me know. All right, see you guys next time.